Disclaimer: these story times are for entertainment purposes only. The names and identities of these story times will be changed to protect the innocent and guilty. With that being said, these story times are not to glorify the bullshit, but to identify and heal from the undealt with traumas that we've been dealing with for so many years. With that being said, let's get to the story. You dig? Say, man, hey, man, you already know what time it is. Your local neighborhood player, Partner Matt Brooks, will be back with another episode of Storytime. This would have been episode number 3. You know what I mean? I did have a formula or a scheduling of how I was going to do these story times. I was going to run through Chicago, then run through Richmond, then run through Las Vegas. But it's only right, since it's my big brother's birthday. Rest in peace, big bros, William Joseph Nelson. It's only right I do a special story time for him today for his birthday. You feel me? So with that being said, you know what I mean? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're taking this story time back to Richmond, California. You know what I mean? This is gonna be the first time that I got caught doing some criminal activities. You know what I mean? Caught in a stolen car, and the first time that I got away successfully with hiding some trees from the Richmond Police Department. You know what I mean? So with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, let me get some content, some backstory of me and Bros' relationship. Because I was telling my sons, you know what I mean, the other day, I'm like, bro, your friends, your girlfriends, your associates gonna come and go. But your brothers, your sisters, your siblings, is y'all gotta hold each other down, have each other's backs, be there for each other, cause y'all is gonna be there for each other forever type shit. Your friends gonna come and go, might be here today and they will be gone tomorrow type shit. But your family, your siblings will be here until you pass away. You know what I mean? Rest in peace, my big brother though. You know what I mean? So with that being said, man, my brother was 7 years older than me. So when I came out born, that motherfucker lucked out to have me as his biggest fan type shit. You know what I mean? You know, I was forced to look up to him. He was 7 years older than me type shit. You know what I mean? But a little content, a little information, a little story, give y'all some insight about my brother and everything like that. You feel me? Bros, like I said, his name was William Joseph Nelson. You know what I mean? His father, you know, it was my half brother. So his father was named William. My mom got the Joe and the Joey. You know what I mean? From my uncle, my great uncle, that took moms in. You know what I mean? When she was 17, my grandmother passed away. So, you know, moms was born blind. So after, you know, her mom passed away in New Orleans, she had to move with my Uncle Joe and Aunt Augustine out there in Chicago and everything like that. You feel me? So, with that being said, you know, moms, like I told you, moms was born blind. So she didn't pass the best eyesight to me and my brother and everything like that. Bros is actually legally blind and shit like that. You feel me? So, you know what I mean? I guess maybe that's why this motherfucker never got into any trouble ever in his life. He was the golden child. Then they had me, the bad apple, you know what I mean, the black sheep, shit like that. But bros never got into trouble, never got a whooping, never got put on punishment, any of that type of stuff and everything. You know what I mean? But when we was living in Chicago, and I mean, bros went to the school, like a school for the handicapped. They used to ship him off. He used to come back on Christmas vacation, summer vacation, you know what I mean? Shit like that. He used to go to the school for the blind in like Jacksonville, Illinois, and everything like that. You feel me? So I didn't get a chance to see him and kick it with them. But we was living in Chicago like that. It was seasonal with us. But when we did, we was locked in. You know what I mean? But when we moved to California, you know, he was older. He was in high school at that time and shit like that. You feel me? So he wasn't going to that school anymore. So that's when we really got bonded, locked in, and was, you know what I mean, holding each other. He held me down, you know what I mean? And for that instance, I'm telling this story right here. You know what I mean? That's why I was telling my kids that the bond, the camaraderie, I said, fuck that all up. You know what I mean? But the bond that you and your brothers and siblings will have is eternal. Friends come and go. They will be here today, going tomorrow, like I said earlier, shit like that. You feel me? So, You know what I mean? Bros held me down. You know what I mean? One time, you know what I mean? I got dropped off by the goddamn Richmond police, and it was just him home. And when I seen that it was just him home to receive me, oh man, I was so fucking happy. I didn't know if he was gonna tell me or not. But I was just happy that my parents were still at work. And they didn't get a chance to, you know what I mean, to know what the fuck was going on type shit. You feel me? So, to the story, you know what I mean? It's just like, I'm in high school at this time. Freshman in high school, Kennedy High type shit, you know what I mean? Yeah. I remember it like it was yesterday. My first day of high school, they actually turned me away. Because you know how most kids ain't got their shit in order, transcripts ain't right. They turned me away the first day. You know what I mean? So I had to come back the second day. But the first day I did come and they turned me away. You know what I mean? It was good. I was excited because I seen my boy Horace. You know what I mean? Horace Bean. Everybody know, especially if you're from the South Side, the 30s. You know Horace. You know what I mean? For the townhouse and shit like that. You feel me? So when I seen my boy Horace, I'm like, oh, woo, okay. I was kind of nervous. I didn't know what to expect coming to Kennedy. You know what I mean? I say that because I didn't go to school with most of the kids from the South Side type shit. If you went to Portland, you know what I mean? You know, right after Portland was Kennedy. Those was two schools hand in hand type shit. You know what I mean? I went to Helms Middle School. So I'm going to school with the North Richmond niggas, the Central Richmond niggas, and a handful of niggas from the South Side type shit. You know what I mean? My best friends was from 1500. You know what I mean? The boy Jason and Jesse Ferguson. Cause they used to get on the bus on that 72 coming from Del Norte Bart. I used to get on San Pablo and Garvin type shit. I stayed in the 30s, like a couple of blocks away from the South Side type shit. You feel me? So, you know what I mean? By the 8th grade, you know what I mean? They telling us what high school we going to and shit like that. They all these kids, they at Helms, they all going to Richmond High type shit. At the answer, Richmond High mostly though. So they telling James, Richmond High, Adam, Richmond High, Sheila, Richmond High, Matthew, Kennedy. I'm like, yeah, Southside. They was hot at me. You know what I mean? Mind you, I've only been in Richmond for about 5 years. You know what I mean? I'm green as a collard bean still. I'm up to speed, but I'm not really understanding the politics yet. 8th grade, 9th grade, you know what I mean? 9th grade, I was up. I'll get to that also. I wasn't even up to speed in the 9th grade, not fully, partly, you know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? So, yeah, they tell me I'm going to Kennedy, you know what I mean, for high school. I'm like, yeah, Southside. All the niggas that at Helms, they mostly from North Richmond. They probably, but we was all friends. I've been going to Helms for 3 years. 2 years in the 7th grade and 1 year in the 8th type shit. You know what I mean? 2 years in the 7th. And I was a fucking class clown. Moved out there from Chicago trying to fit into Richmond. You know what I mean? My first year in middle school, man, it was bad. I got suspended so much. You know what I mean? I was bad as shit. You feel me? That's neither here or there. You know what I mean? I can admit it now, type shit. You feel me? I can admit it now. Yeah, I can admit it. You feel me? That's neither here or there, though, type shit. You feel me? So when they telling me what school I was going to, I'm like, oh, okay. But I didn't know what to expect. Because, you know what I mean? I ain't know. I mean, I knew everybody from Kennedy, but I ain't know who was at Kennedy yet. I just didn't know. I was green. I was walking in, first day freshman type shit. You know what I mean? So they turned me away that first day. I get there at my second day of school. You know what I mean? I see my main man that I've been rocking with since like the 5th or 6th grade. My nigga TJ Maxx, my nigga Thurman Adams, my nigga TJ, you know what I mean? I stayed on 35th and Garvin. He stayed on like 24th and Garvin type shit, you know what I mean? But yeah, we been smoking Bammer, bullshitting, being dusty fucks for like 5 years straight now type shit. Me, Lamar, Jesse, all of them, Gustavo, we it's like 15, 20 of us type shit. You know what I mean? So when I see my boy TJ second day of school, oh man, it's up. You know what I mean? And you know I've been a weed head for like 3 years now, type shit. And I'm always one of them type of individuals that I'm one of them niggas that always got money. I stayed with money since knee out to a grasshopper. Everybody else was dusty, broke. You know what I mean? My nigga TJ, he was dusty and broke, but that was my nigga. You know what I mean? So if he was with me, we was smoking. Cause I ain't give a fuck. We getting this all high type shit. You know what I mean? So, cause I said, yeah, bro, man, what's up, bro? You up here? He was like in the 11th grade at that time too. I'm a freshman, so I'm like, oh, I got some. You know what I mean? Oh, okay. I'm walking in with extra little popularity, cause he like, oh, look a Brooks boy. I was Brooks boy. I was kind of famous out there, especially for smoking weed and my glasses and shit like that. You know what I mean? Yeah, I be seeing some of y'all be laughing at them glasses and shit like that. But we got another story time coming soon about the glasses. You know what I mean? I was back then. Oh man, back then I was liable to pop your ass fast as hell. Don't talk about them glasses. You would have got shot for real. Right now, you know what time it is. As long as y'all ain't harming nobody I love, it's all peace and blessings to the world, Craig. You know what I mean? You already know what time it is. It's love. You feel me? However the females be doing that gay shit. Shouts out to the gays. But however they be doing it. You know what I mean? But back then with them glasses, oh, that would have popped you fast type shit. You know what I mean? So I seen bros. You know what I mean? Back to the story. I'm like, man, what's up, man? You know, I got some tree. Let's go smoke. You know what I mean? And you know, soon as I get to high school, I was so cool that my very first day, I stopped. I never got dressed for PE, not one day. I was cutting, going to the projects. First year, you know what I mean? I said, when I seen TJ, I'm like, bro, what's up? Let's go smoke. He's like, all right, for sure. Let's go to the manor. You know what I mean? It's the projects across the street. We go to John F. Kennedy High School. Across the street is the John F. Kennedy Manor Projects type shit. You know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, cool, let's go. You know what I mean? When I get there, I see it's a whole lot of Asians. Shout out to all of my SOD partners that went to Helms with me. It's a whole lot of Asians that went to Helms that's already just loitering in the projects, wasting time, cutting class and shit like that also. So I'm like, oh, what's up with y'all? You know what I mean? I'm right in line. You know what I mean? We smoking this shit the whole ninth grade. We smoking weed in the manor. You know what I mean? Naturally, by the 10th grade, we went on the other side of cutting. You know what I mean? And stayed in our atmosphere. You know what I mean? We wasn't supposed to be over on that side of cutting in a manner anyway. But we didn't give a fuck. You couldn't tell us nothing back then. You know what I mean? For real, for real. So, you know what I mean? It was natural. That's what I was saying. I was green. By the 10th grade, I was all the way up to speed type shit. You know what I mean? But I see TJ, we go into the manor, cutting class, smoking weed, bammer, occasional chronic. And that's when chronic and Kush, purple really. You know what I mean? And Roper, Doty. That's when all that shit was really coming out and shit like that. You know what I mean? So bro's got an idea. He like, hey bro, man, you want to leave at lunch? My boy got a stolen car around the corner. I'm gonna steal it. We can go smoke some bammer. Yeah, I mean, for all of our people on the other side of the country that don't know what "Don't Give Me No Bammer Weed," it's a famous song that RBL Posse came out with in the '90s. You know what I mean? Called Bammer Weed. That's like the bullshittiest weed that you could find. But that was our shit. We was didn't know any better type shit. You know what I mean? So this nigga said, "Bro, I'ma steal the homie's stolen car." Two double negatives. You know what I mean? This motherfucker hot ass car is already hot. You gonna steal the hot mobile? Fuck it, let's go. I'm ready to go smoke anyway. Fuck school. You know what I mean? So I agreed with my dumb ass. Green as a collard bean type shit. You know what I mean? No, just naive, dumb. You know what I mean? Being way too, you know what I mean? You know, influence. I was letting people influence me. You know what I mean? Being bad inspirations. You know what I mean? So we jump in this goddamn old ass like a 79 Datsun. You know what I mean? Celica truck type shit. You feel me? This old raggedy motherfucker look like you could just stick a foul down key in the ignition and that shit'll start. That's how these old school cars was and shit back in the day. You know what I mean? So we jumped in that bitch. You know what I mean? We went to the townhouses to go get some Bammer from Big Mike. You know what I mean? Anybody that know back in the day, back in the rich, it was only two Bammer spots that was real fired up. The townhouses, you know what I mean? in First Street type shit. So we went to Townhouse to get some Bammer for Big Mike. You know what I mean? A couple of nickel sacks type shit, you feel me? Then we proceeded our ass to his house on 24th and Garvin to go smoke type shit, you know what I mean? So we think we cool, chilling, you know what I mean? We ride in ninth grade, you know what I mean? You can't tell us Nathan type shit, you feel me? I should have knew something was up when we get to this nigga's spot type shit. We parked the car around the corner type shit. Now that's a dude. You know what I mean? Like bros like, hey, it's cool I parked there. He was like, yeah, yeah, no problem. You parked there last night, huh? He like, yeah, yeah. I should have knew. Radar should have went off. You know what I mean? I should have had knew some shit was up. But I was green as a economy, didn't give a fuck. Wasn't even up to speed on the history and shit like that. You know what I mean? This nigga done stole this car 2 or 3 days ago from his pocket. You know what I mean? So we go in his house, proceed to smoke our stress weed. You know what I mean? As we proceed to smoke this stress weed, you know what I mean? Shout out to my goddamn light. The light that went out, or I gotta turn it back on type shit. Only give you a few minutes type shit. You know what I mean? Hey, we work. Yeah, we gonna upgrade real soon. You know what I mean? I'm finna get my cameraman and my editor. I'm doing all this shit myself right now. You know what I mean? But real soon, you know what I mean? I'm finna include all of my goddamn resources that I've been building for so many years and shit like that. But, you know what I mean? Like I say, we jump out the car and dude like, yeah, you parked there last night, huh? You know what I mean? I would not. Oh well. So we just go in the house and smoke and shit like that. Smoke 2 Bammer blunts. You know what I mean? I still got a Bammer bag left in my pocket. 1 nickel sack left. You know what I mean? We just smoked one. Now it's like, shit, 2:45. School finna get out. You know what I mean? So we finna jump back in the whip. I'm like, bro, drive me off. You know what I mean? I'm finna go to the house. And, you know what I mean? So we, you know what I mean, get out the house. Walking up the street. Mind you, we walking up the street. We parked on this block right here. So we got to walk and turn type shit. So as we walking up the street, you know what I mean, we look to the left, you know what I mean, we should have turned around and ran instantly. But as we walk to the street, we walking so fast, so excited to get in this car, we probably make a hell of noise and shit like that. As we walking, and you know what I mean, we look, goddamn police is on the car, and we too far in the street to turn around type shit. You know what I mean? So we try to hurry up across the street, and the motherfucking police like, hey, y'all, come here. Because the dude that said, hey, ain't y'all the ones that parked there last night, right? He was there talking to the police. And you know what I mean? Like, yeah, that's them right there. So, oh shit, you know what I mean? So, yeah, as we walked to the police, we should have ran. Yeah, we wouldn't have got far. They would have chased us down. You know what I mean? But we walked up to us, and they instantly snatched up Thurman the Worm, my nigga TJ Maxx, Thurman Adams. Yeah, I'm putting y'all on blast. You know what I mean? Hey, but he served his time for that shit. You know what I mean? So I ain't snitching on shit. Never been this rat. Except for that one Storytime episode number 2. Y'all go peep that out. You know what I mean? So they snatched up Thurman the Worm. You know what I mean? They put him in handcuffs, and you sit down on the curb next to us. We both sitting on the curb type shit. They over there talking to dude about, you know what I mean, he's giving him his story, you know what I mean, come to find out type shit. That car was found by the owner the night before type shit, you know what I mean? The owner tried to come and recover his fucking vehicle the fucking next morning, but TJ Maxx's ass already got up, jumped in, and went to school with the goddamn thing. So the car had disappeared again type shit, you know what I mean? So as the car disappeared again, he let the neighbor, the person that was standing, and I mean, where he had parked in front of the house, like, hey, that car come back, call the police, let me know, call me, you know what I mean? Obviously, type shit, you feel me? So, you know what I mean? That's how the neighbor had seen us to put 2 and 2 together, knew to call the police, got us sucked up like that type shit, you know what I mean? But as we sitting on the curb, you know what I mean? I'm trying to goddamn schedule out my goddamn life. But I know it's going to be all bad. I feel ass whoopings coming, punishments, You know what I mean? Ain't no telling when I'm finna be outside again. Ain't no telling when I'm finna see the sun. Man, I don't know. Hopefully I ain't going to jail with this nigga type shit. I wasn't even thinking about that. I wasn't even thinking about I was finna go to jail. I was like 14 at the time type shit. They snatched his ass up. As they got in, we both sitting on the curb. Mind you, I got that goddamn nickel sack in my damn pocket. Scared that I was gonna get searched. I take that motherfucker out of my pocket. If they weren't looking, throw it under the car, the police car that was right in front of us type shit, you know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? They wound up putting bros in a different police car, taking him to juvenile hall. Martinez, juvenile hall. They put me in a police car and take me home. You know what I mean? We on 24th and Garvin. So we just go straight up Garvin to 35th Street, hit that left, you know what I mean? So now we get back to the beginning of the story. As I'm getting out the car and I see that my parents is not home and it's my brother there. Rest in peace, my big bros, you know what I mean? William Joseph Nelson, there to receive me from the police. At this time, he was like 22, 23. He was an adult. So they thought he was going to do the right thing type shit, you know what I mean? But bros was just bros. He didn't give a fuck. I don't think he thought about it. He didn't care. He just received me, you know what I mean? I went in the house, told his ass to happy. He didn't care. He didn't question it, nothing like that. You know what I mean? He was in there watching cartoons. Bros wasn't autistic, but he was a little, you know what I mean? He was bros to just bros type shit, you know what I mean? So I get dropped off, police leave type shit. I'm like, man, woo, what an exciting goddamn adventure. You know what I mean? Because I'm sitting there contemplating. I'm like, damn, that's 9 blocks away. I wonder if my weed's still out there type shit. You know what I mean? Goddamn real smoker with real smoker tendencies. I should have said, fuck that little bitty ass nickel sack in 1996, 7, 8-ish, whatever year this was. A nickel sack was probably like a gram or two of some fucking Bammer weed. I should have said, fuck that nickel sack. But my motherfucking ass said, nope, nope, nope. I'm finna go run all the way down Garvin, these 9 blocks, and go get my goddamn nickel sack of Bammer. Hopefully it's still there. You know what I mean? So I don't know. If it was gonna be there, if they found it, if somebody else found it, we gonna see them type shit, you know what I mean? So as the coast is clear, then no police, bros, they finished say nothing. Got my ass out the house. Running down Garvin, 35th, 34th, 33rd, 32nd. You know what I mean? Got to 24th Street type shit, you know what I mean? With the, where we was just hemmed up by the police that type shit, looked up my goddamn flat ass sack of Bammer marijuana that got ran over by the police squad car was right there waiting for me type shit, you know what I mean? You feel me? So shouts out for bros for not telling on me. You know what I mean? And shouts out for me being successful with that. But I was a bad criminal. That's when I learned that criminal activity really wasn't for me. You know what I mean? I knew the fuck doing criminal activity. Let me start hustling in the right activity type shit, you feel me? But let me tell y'all another little quick story time, a little quick story, you feel me? You always gotta follow your gut type shit, you know what I mean? Because before my brother had passed away, his brother had reached out to me in Chicago because their father got sick and they was trying to reach out to Joey and let him know, hey, bros, you know what I mean? Pops was getting sick, you know what I mean? Shit like that, you know what I mean? So I'm like, damn. As I thought about it, I haven't talked to my brother in like 2 or 3 years, 4 years type shit, you know what I mean? So I'm like, all right, bro. You know what I mean? You know, because I'm in Vegas. Bros is in Frisco. When we left the Bay Area, came to Vegas, he stayed out there type shit. You know what I mean? Shouts out to him. He was living in San Francisco, Filmo. You know what I mean? Since we've been in Las Vegas type shit, you feel me? So Frisco, for sure, was part of my genes and shit like that. You know what I mean? But his brother had reached out and wanted me to get in contact with him because they was in Chicago. I'm the closest thing to him in the Bay Area and everything like that, you feel me? So I'm like, all right, brother, I got you. You know what I mean? I got on the hunt. looking for my big brother that I haven't heard from in like 2 or 3, 4 years, which is really rare. Usually hear a call, birthdays, birthday cards, he'll put in the mail. I think it was old school type shit, you know what I mean? But he would reach out and communicate. And when I thought about it, he didn't communicate. I'm like, man, yeah, let me tap in, see what's up with Big Bro. He might need me. I might gotta come save today. Mind you, that was my big brother, but since he was kind of autistic and everything like that, he held the position down to being a protector until I got of age. You know what I mean? And what I did out there in the streets kept everybody well. You know what I mean? Even when I left, you know what I mean? He was protected because of my plugs, and the people who I dealt with, and the people that loved me and us, type shit. You feel me? So, you know what I mean? I got on the look, on the hunt, trying to find my brother, type shit. I'm turning over every rock, every stone, everything that I could possibly think of and shit like that. Now my bros in Chicago was basically, he was like in Atlanta. He reached out to a detective friend of his that sent me like several addresses that might be associated with Joey and shit like that. You know what I mean? I did everything. I'm like, hey bro, I'm sending my peoples. I'm like, hey man, go check this address, go scope this block, and go see about this. And you know what I mean? I did everything except for take my ass to the Bay Area myself and got on the hunt. Which I should have just went out there myself, went to San Francisco and tracked him down, type shit. But I was searching for him for at least 6 months, coming up, you know what I mean? Coming up dry, no results, type shit. You feel me? So I stopped looking. Stop looking type shit, you know what I mean? Stop looking. Eventually, his father passed away. You know what I mean? I attempted to look again when his father passed away, to reach out again and shit like that. Now I'm like, damn, now the hunt and the search was even more. Because I'm like, man, why the fuck? Now, you know what I mean? I'm tripping now type shit, because I should have been in contact with him, should have found him, should have heard something, you know what I mean? But still, it's nothing, you know what I mean? So, as his father passed away, I reach out again and shit, go through the same emotions, same, you know what I mean? Sending my peoples, I'm like, man, I'm sending hitters. Boy, go find my brother for me, bruh, please, before I come and tear that motherfucker up. You know what I mean? I ain't know what's going on type shit. You know what I mean? Peace and blessings. You know what I mean? It's all peace and blessings, though. You feel me? But I'm sending my folks out there that love me. You know what I mean? That would do anything for me type shit. You feel me? Still came up nothing. Came up empty and shit like that. So I shut it down again. Stop searching. Stop looking. Shut it down again. You know what I mean? Like 4 months after that, he found me. My brother found me. You know what I mean? Not him personally. But the coroner from San Francisco called me and told me that we got your brother. He's been in his apartment dead for the last 2 weeks, and we need you to come and identify and do this and do that and do that. Yeah, he found me, man. He passed away. You know what I mean? And was sitting in his apartment for a couple of weeks, and I guess the smell and the neighbors, and they kicked the door down and found bros, and that's how we found out bros had passed away and shit like that. So when you know what I mean, more of the story is and shit like that. When you got a gut feeling, you know what I mean, follow that thing. Don't let up. You know what I mean? Because if I would have stayed on it, I might have would have found bros in time. You know what I mean? And maybe would have gave him the help that he needed to keep him alive, type shit. You feel me? You know, I ain't God. I can't play God. You know what I mean? But maybe not. You know what I mean? But you know what I mean? That was another episode of Storytime, dedicated to my big brother, William Joseph Nelson. You know what I mean? Rest in peace, big bros. You feel me? Shouts out to holding me down. Never telling mama that the police dropped me off at the crib that day, because she would have probably beat the fuck out of both of us. You know what I mean? Nah, since she never beat you, I would have got that beating for us. I would have took that one for us like I took the rest of them for. I took them all for us, man. You know what I mean? It was for the cause, Brody. You already know. It's love, though. Y'all peace and blessing. Y'all like, comment, subscribe. You know what I mean? Be on the lookout for the next story time. And I got some goofy shit, some crazy shit. My life really been a movie for 45 years. Not to expose my age, but it's really been a movie. You know what I mean? Like, militant society ain't got shit on what I had to deal with. You know what I mean? What I put myself through. You know what I mean? What I had to get myself out of type shit. You feel me? So, with that being said, you feel me? These story times ain't to glorify the bullshit that we've been through. It is the identify and heal. You know what I mean? From the undealt with traumas that we've been dealing with for so many years. With that being said, let y'all like, comment, subscribe, hype that thing up. Highlight y'all at the next one. You feel me?